Who says playing as the medic is boring? What do they know?
Medic.
Hey, what's going on YouTube? Chop Celery here, and welcome to my my hard-ass mother effer medic build in Wasteland 3, specifically for a Supreme Jerk difficulty run. Now, this build is really just a shout out to all my medics out there. I always play as a medic whenever I play with my friends in really any game. I really enjoy the role, and with that with that being said, I've really tried to make a medic build that really showcases that they are a little bit more fun to play if you build them right. So, without further ado, we'll talk about the background, quirk, attributes of my character, in addition to the skills, perks, and then finally I'll go over my gear and really just how I tried to make this build effective. So let's go ahead and do it. Now, in terms of the background, I chose Sex Machine just for more combat speed. My quirk is Circus Freak just for more combat speed, in addition to crit resistance at the cost of evasion and detection time. We want more combat speed because we're going to be dashing up and picking up allies when they get downed. Now, the attributes you saw, so coordination, awareness, and intelligence, I just maxed them out for more action points, more range damage, and then just increased crit chance and crit damage. Also, critical healing chance is higher. So all good stuff for the medic. Now, in terms of skills, I maxed out automatic weapons, first aid, and hard ass. I used a skill book for the last line for all three of them to get them to rank 10, and then as you can see, weird science is only at level 5. It's just for my weapon can get a little bit more damage out there. Now, in terms of the perks, don't worry about the top. They really don't have, for the non-skill line perks, they don't have any impact on the build. But for the automatic weapons, Gopher Hunter is a good one. Reckless is also Reckless is a must. Gopher Hunter as well. Stormer, and then getting the last one for Trigger Happy. So those are the ones I recommend. For the first aid line, I would recommend picking up all the points, just because they really are all, 3 out of the 4 are dependent upon an ally going down. Now, typically, the two that work most in tandem would be Hypocritic Oath in addition to like physical therapy. So picking up an ally, you have a chance of buffing them 6% times whatever the rank that your first aid is. So when I pick up an ally, I have a 60% chance of buffing them. So when they get buffed, they don't actually have any injuries, which is great. And then they can get right back into the fray. So when we also pick up an ally, we get Hypocritic Oath, increasing our damage by 50%. So it really, just in turn, then we can just go ahead and unleash hell. And then the last one was just Weird Science. So that way I can just pop that and then potentially get a little bit more damage out there. So now, in terms of just my inventory, my gear, I just went with the scrap armor, just because the scrap armor, it gives you that, the helmet at least gives you +1 passive to hard ass. So I wanted to have someone in my party have that skill line, just because it's very useful throughout the campaign, I find. So I modded all of my gear just to get a little bit more like status effect resistance. The chest piece, I gave more armor, so I get 10 instead of 4 what it came with. And then the legs, I just gave it a mod for an additional +1 armor and +0.4 combat speed, so that way I can travel further on less action points. Now for the utility, I just have the star, and this is just from Corporal Wilson. I think it's Wilson. It could be Woodson. I'm probably messing that up, but anyway, it's from one of the Rangers that you rescue from Aspen. I think you just got to make sure you rescue the rest of the squad. Now for the weapons, my main weapon, also to go with the theme, it's been the Enforcer. I got it roughly around the middle of the game, and I enjoy using it. I did mod it so that way it does fire damage, just because, it's basically like my cauterizing stick as a medic. Just makes sense, right, for the theme. Now the secondary, it's just a laser sprayer. I just have it just in case I run into any synths, robots, vehicles, things like that. Now for like the like the hotbar items, I just have the med dart and then just the first aid kit. Just 2 things you're always going to need. And then finally, for stats, the only real things I want to focus on would just be like combat speed. As you can see, it's 2.6. It's pretty high. And then for this type of build, having around 40 to 50% critical chance. As you can see, that's pretty good. I would recommend that in addition to having a higher hit chance. So that way at least we can do damage. But essentially, this build really just works like you're going to allow an ally to be downed. That's when your buffs are really going to kick in. So that way you're going to dash over, revive them, hopefully give them a bonus, like a passive bonus, and also have them be picked up with no injuries. And then you get the buffs of dealing more damage. That way you can dash, get the Stormer perk, so that way you can have a free shot after you take equivalent to 5 spaces, and then really unleash hell. So this build has just been so much fun to not only pick up our allies, but then, man, we're really dishing out some damage. So, friends, I appreciate you watching.